Hello, my name's Tim Francis, and I'm the founder of You Shall Believe. I've been married 15 years, live in Justin, Texas. This is my wife and 3 kids. And what I do full time is I showcase the supernatural, and you can find some amazing videos at youshallbelieve.com. This has nothing to do with what I'm going to show you, but I thought I'd plug what I do full time. I met this man right here probably about in November, and I found out real quickly that he had an impressive resume. He was Ernst & Young 2008 Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. He has 5 successful prior business startups. The bottom line is he's been very, very successful with everything he's touched. And that's really how you determine a man's future, is by his background. And I met him through this man, Steve Little. Steve Little's a friend of mine. I've known him for about 10 years. They call him, as you can see on the magazine, the $1 Million Man. Bottom line is he hasn't worked a traditional job since he was 19. He's 53 years old. He has made $8 million profit in the last 10 years, documented, working from home. And he's Mark Adams' #1 direct marketer in what I'm going to showcase today. Most impressive to my family, my wife and I, was the fact his son in the lower right there, Austin, he got an academic scholarship to Baylor in Waco, Texas, and he turned it down. And he said the reason was because growing up, he went to a private Christian school, and he said his friends' dads were rich, but he said they were never around. And he said, looking back, my dad was always around. He worked from home, and he said, I wanted my dad's life, not my friend's dad's life, so I decided to follow my dad's route instead of going to college. And time freedom is what we're here to talk about first and foremost. I think some of the best authorities on that are Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. You might remember Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He wrote a book with Donald Trump called Why We Want You to Be Rich. And in it, they said there's 4 types of people who make up the world of business. There's the E, and that's the employee. And the employee, you exchange time for money. If you work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid, unless you get your time off. There's an S, that's a small business owner, self-employed, sales. It could be doctor, could be lawyer. Bottom line is your business or profession cannot function long-term without you being involved. I've heard people say, I don't own a business, my business owns me. And then there's the B, which he calls the big business. This is where somebody has 500 employees or more. They don't have to go to their place of business. And then there's the I, that's the investor quadrant, and this is where your money makes you money. And the bottom line from the book, in a nutshell, they said in order to be free, either people have to be making you money when you're not at your business, or money has to be making you money enough that it pays all of your bills, and at that point you would be considered completely free, complete time freedom. So they say you'd have to be on the B and the I. $100 million question is, how do you become a B and I? There's only about 5% of the people in America that are there. They said option 1, you need 5 years and $5 million. And obviously most people have 5 years, most people don't have $5 million. Option 2 is to look for and build a network of people that can help you distribute a viable product to the marketplace. So breaking that down, you need to find a viable product, and you need to understand what it means to look for and build networks. Robert Kiyosaki's nickname is the millionaire school teacher, and he said the richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. Every time I think about networks, I think about Facebook that we all created. And before we talk about the network, I want to talk about a product, a viable product. Without a viable product, there is no business. Right below this video, there's a video that says the 3-minute never discovered before video. I cannot do it justice. Make sure you watch that video when you're done here. It'll give you a very clear understanding of why Mark Adams has a very distinctive advantage in the marketplace. But let me take a stab at it. There are 5 fast-growing market segments that Mark Adams decided to be in. And the core ingredient that we have in all of them, or the cornerstone ingredient, I should say, is from the coffee fruit. I didn't even know there was such a thing. When you get the bean and you roast the bean, that bean from the coffee comes from a fruit. And it turns out that fruit has tremendous amount of antioxidants. In fact, 1 gram of that fruit is equivalent to 625 grams of blueberries. And so what he's done is he's taken the first market, coffee. There's 400 million cups of coffee drink a day. Dunkin' Donuts changed their logo from a donut to a coffee cup. And I heard somebody say that people will leave home without kissing their wife, but they won't leave home without drinking a cup of coffee. Now, personally, I don't even drink coffee. My wife doesn't drink coffee. But what Mark Adams has created is the healthiest coffee in the world. And with the brewed coffee, you're talking about 24 cents a cup. You can't even get a cup from McDonald's for 24 cents. People are paying $2 or $3 from Starbucks. And the bottom line is, when you drink this, it's equivalent, the antioxidant equivalent of a serving of fresh blueberries in every cup. Tastes incredible, I'm told, and only 24 cents a cup for the brewed. They've got brewed, they've got instant, they've got decaf, and they've got latte. Massive market. The next market, if you look at the nutritional beverage industry, it went from 20 billion to almost 50 billion in a handful of years right here. And we're talking about those drinks and those vitamins and those pills where people say you can get all of your fruits and vegetables in a drink. I think it started with a company called V8. I remember the V8. And then it's progressed. There's been lots of other companies. But one thing very few of them have is scientific proof. Mark Adams took this right here to Brunswick Laboratories. Brunswick Laboratories invented how you determine how much antioxidants are in a fruit. It's called the ORAC value. And they took this product right here and they did double-blind placebo tests. And the results were so strong, it was written up in a medical journal. And the bottom line, you can read the clinicals on the website, but in 3 ounces, you get 21 servings of fruits and vegetables in 1 serving. And let me tell you, I have a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 7-year-old, and they love it. They absolutely love it. It's almost like an oxymoron for something to be good for you and for your kids to love it. But they've got scientific proof on that. It's an amazing way to get 21 servings of fruits and vegetables. The next market right here, you're talking about Monster, Red Bull. Look at this, went from 15 billion to 35 billion. Energy drinks. Everybody's trying to get their energy. Unfortunately, a lot of times those drinks are terrible for you. It's artificial, and you have a crash after the high comes down. It's like a drug. So Mark Adams and his team of scientists created with coffee berry. The coffee berry is in every single product, and they've got the exclusive worldwide patent on this. Nobody in our industry can ever have this. And this energy drink literally tastes too good to be true. It tastes like it could, usually when something tastes good for you or tastes great, it can't be good for you. And I love this. It gives you an energy kick without the crash. And this is a vitamin-packed, low-calorie energy drink for those times when you find yourself in a slump, you're having difficulty staying focused. It is incredible. Love the product. Huge market. Those are the three markets. They make sense. But let's talk about 2 other ones. When I first saw this was back in November. Mark Adams showed me a picture, and this wasn't out yet. And he said, I have the worldwide exclusive patent on this. And he said, my wife and I said, after he showed us this picture, or a picture similar to this, we said, if this is true, if this is not photoshopped, then who wouldn't want this? This is a serum loaded with coffee berry such that your skin grabs it like food and absorbs it. And I can tell you, it's only been out 5 weeks. Right now, as I'm doing this, is March 9th, 2014. March 9th, 2014. And literally just in the last 5 weeks, this came onto the marketplace. And it's incredible. I have actually a lady up in Philadelphia who had eczema so bad that she didn't want to kiss her husband, and literally within 2 applications, it was virtually gone. I'm making no guarantees, but I tell you, everybody that's used it talks about how smooth their skin is, and you can see the before and after. This is the same lady, and if I told you how old she was, you wouldn't believe me. Now, the next product is probably the most immediate impact, highest selling. Everybody wants it, especially if you drink coffee. And the core ingredient in this product, they have a 10-week clinical trial. And let me just kind of highlight that for you. They had 102 people over the course of 10 weeks, and they average weight loss. They had a body mass index of 26 or higher, and the average weight loss was 28 pounds, 6 inches off their waist. I don't want to lose 28 pounds, but I'll take 6 inches off my waist, and a 6% decrease in body fat. And again, you can read this clinical trial on the website. The key here is they didn't change their diet or exercise. And what you would do with this product is instant coffee loaded with coffee berries, so you get this massive influx of antioxidants. but it's got a thermogenic component. So what you would do is you would drink 2 cups of coffee a day. And could you imagine drink 2 cups of coffee a day, get a ton of antioxidants, and lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds or 28 pounds in 10 weeks and 6 inches off your waist? I personally haven't had any, and I'm not making any claims, but I haven't had one single person so far that has taken this that hasn't lost at least 4 pounds their first week. Massive markets. I'll come back to the products. I want to switch hats, and I want to talk about the business side. We do 2 things. We tell people about the products, and we get other people to tell people about the product. So we distribute a viable product to the marketplace, and we look for and build a network of people to help us. This is exactly the formula that Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump talked about. Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote The Business School, he also wrote a book called, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, also wrote a book called The Business School, for people who like helping people. I love this business because in order for people to be successful, they have to help other people be successful. Now, I think of this like Facebook, and here's what I mean. When you get started, number one, there's going to be 2. If you want to do the business, if you just want to use the products, no problem. But if you want to be a part of the network, if you want to have a chance to leverage yourself, then there's 2 options, VIP or basic, and I'm going to come back to these in a minute. And immediately you have a website. Somebody goes to your website, or 10 people go to your website, whatever the case is, they spend $50, and the company's going to pay you $25 because somebody went to your website and spent $50. That's called a customer acquisition bonus. And then you're going to find 3 people. Now, I think that this is Facebook. Most people who are on Facebook have they usually have more than 3 friends. Some people have 500 friends or 100 friends. And even if you're not on Facebook, I guarantee you have more than 3 friends. So the deal is, think of Facebook. If you friend 3 people and they have a website and they decide they want to be involved in the network because they like the product, they know people who drink coffee, they're paying more than 24 cents a cup, they're not getting all those antioxidants, they know people who would drink coffee and want to lose weight, they have wrinkles on their face or they have eczema or whatever the case is, they don't have any energy. My point is all of the products make perfect sense to most people. So they set up a website, and somebody goes to their website, spends $50, that person now gets $25, but you actually get $100. It's called leveraged income. You get $100. So 100 times 3 gives you 300. And since you already made the 25 on the next slide, you now are at $325. Now, this isn't going to make you rich, and you're not going to understand it because I'm going to go really fast because I'm on a limited schedule. But here's what I want you to know. Those first 3 people that you friend, you're going to make 25% off of everything they make on their leadership bonus, and I'll show you what that is in a minute, when you get to a certain position. So it's very important you friend the first 3 people who are very connected, at least who know a lot of people. Now, when you friend those first 3 people and they get started in the network, you actually become a marketing director. And what happens as a marketing director, now not only do you make $100 every time you friend somebody and they get started and have somebody go to their website, but now you make another $100 on what they call a leadership bonus. Okay? And here's how that works. So you friend this person and you make your $100 plus you make your $200. 100 plus 100, that's 200, 200, 100 plus 100, 200. So now you've been paid $925 for friending 6 people who all got started and have somebody go to their website and spend $50. And what happens is, naturally, these 3 people, and this is just like Facebook. I mean, if you think about it, we all friended 10 or 15 or 20 people. We sold our friends to be a part of Facebook, and they sold other people to be a part of Facebook, and pretty soon we built this massive network. So now advertisers pay millions of dollars to sell stuff to us, and the people at Facebook, the guy became like a billionaire because of us. And so now we have an opportunity to participate in the profits. If this person wants to do what you did, what do? Friend 3 people. They set up a website. They get $50 that's spent. This person makes money, but guess what? You also make, on every person that is friended below this, you're going to actually make a $100 leadership bonus. 100 times 3, it's hard to write with this mouse, but that's 300 right there, right? So that's 300, 300, 300. So now you've made $1,825, even though you didn't friend any of these people right here. Now, if the progression continued, and this is exactly what happened to Facebook, it would go to unlimited levels, and your money would just keep growing based upon people going to their website and doing what? Buying coffee that is the healthiest coffee in the world. It's cheaper than they're spending right now. Serum that's absolutely natural without surgery, makes somebody look 10 or 20 years younger sometimes. Energy drinks, and where you could get 21 servings of fruits and vegetables in 3 ounces. The point is, Mark Adams was Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2008. He's got 5 successful other businesses. He didn't bring these to market because they didn't make sense. He's going to be best in class in every product category. Now what happens is, the only backup on that, for you to go from marketing director to the next position, you have to have 10 people anywhere in your Facebook network, anywhere in this network, 10 that become a marketing director. How do you become a marketing director? You friend 3 people that get started in the business and have somebody go to their website. So you got to have 10 people that do that, which means you have 10 people that made some money. So the business school for people who like helping people, like Kiyosaki said. And as a senior marketing director, you now get paid a $1,000 bonus. This is on top of anything else. Nobody going to anybody's website. The company just pays you $1,000 for helping other people spread the word. And you get 25% of a Life Team check match on their leadership bonus. Let me give you an example. I'm on track right now to make about this is what I do part-time, by the way. I'm on track right now to make about $10,000 next month on my leadership bonus. If you were a senior marketing director and you friended me, I was one of your first 3, 25% of that is $2,500. So if I made $10,000 a month on my leadership bonus, you'd make $2,500 a month just because you friended me first. That's for one person. What if you friended 3, right? So that would be $7,500 a month. That's $90,000 a year. I'm not guaranteeing that. I can tell you people make more than that. People make less than that. I'm on track right now to do a lot better than that. But anyway, so senior marketing director, and it's pretty simple. What does everybody do? Now you friend 3 more people. Now, instead of making $100 on your leadership bonus, you make a $100 mentorship bonus, $100 leadership bonus. You actually now make a $200 leadership bonus. So 200 plus 100 is 300. So what is it? Boom. You make 300 there, 300 there. Now 200, 200, 200. Instead of 100, 100, 100, 200, 200, 200. So again, it's just like Einstein, I believe, said compound interest was the 8th wonder of the world. And this is no difference. It's compound people, the Facebook style, people telling people about a great product. Kiyosaki said the richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. He also said the definition of wealth is the number of days that you can survive without physically working and still maintain your standard of living. Question: if you don't get paid on your normal business or job and you don't go to work for 90 days, could you survive? How about 6 months? And that's the definition of wealth. If you have leveraged income like my buddy Steve Lill, he could quit for a whole year and still have leveraged income. I want to show you a very important slide. Ben and Yana Jones. Ben Jones plays professional football all over the world, lately in Finland. He's back in the United States. He's from Waco, Texas. He's only 24 and he has 15 concussions already. So he said, I need to find something where I can be completely free like I was in football, but not get 15 concussions. And his wife, who he married in Finland, is 24 years of age. She was an international model. And they wanted to do something out of the box. I introduced them to the business. They introduced David Estrada, just like they friended him, just like Facebook. He owns a production company in Austin, Texas. Very busy. By the way, 95% of the people that are involved in this are extremely busy. So when we're done, if you like what you see, please don't say you're too busy. We're all busy. Nobody's too busy to friend somebody. Think of Facebook. And then what happened is there's this guy, Chris Coker. He owns 2 businesses. He's 28 in Hurst, Texas. He owns an insurance company and a debt consolidation company. I think in the last 5 years, his business has grossed $4 million. Why is he doing this? Because he is exchanging time for money in his businesses, and he spends a lot of money on it. And then there's this guy, Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel actually trained Chris Coker. He trained David Estrada, and he trained Ben in a previous business where Mike McDaniel, who's 34 going on 64 in his business experience, opened up sales offices all over the United States. And this is the kind of business, I like to say, where your boss can work for you, as proved by Mike McDaniel and the others. Mike then, or actually Chris Coker, now look at this. Chris Coker right here, he friended Chris Tier. But look where Chris Tier is in the network. He's part of Mike McDaniel's network, even though Chris did the work of friending him and inviting him to be a part of the business, to be part of the network. Let me show you what that means. Well, what happened is, by the way, Chris Tier could have been involved a long time ago, but he chose not to be. Mike McDaniel friended his mother and said, hey, Mom, you've been working 20 years. I know you know people who drink coffee and want to lose weight and have wrinkles. And she introduced, theoretically, a guy named Bob the Builder. Let me tell you who Bob the Builder is. It's Mr. Credibility, somebody that knows a ton of people. They go out and do $100,000 a month, not personally. I mean, think about Facebook. You have hundreds of thousands of people. If everybody on Facebook started drinking coffee that was only 24 cents a cup and using energy drinks that weren't bad for you, taking a shot that was in 3 ounces equivalent to 21 servings of fruits and vegetables, and giving people a serum that gets rid of their wrinkles, and they spent money every month, it wouldn't take that many people. Eventually, if you had 1,000 people or 10,000 people spending $100 a month, think of that. 10,000 people spending $100 a month, that's $100,000, right? So that's how that happens, a little bit off a lot. Well, then Chris Tier has a team of a network that 10 to tell 10, tell 10, tell 10, just like Facebook, and they do $150,000 a month. Now, this company will do millions, if not billions of dollars. So what happens is the company says, this is just one form of payment, they say they're going to take 10% of the weaker side. So 10% of 100,000 is $10,000. So if there was 100,000 a month and there was 150,000 a month, then Mike McDaniel will be making $10,000 a month. And this has nothing to do with the money I showed you on leadership bonuses and mentorship bonuses. That was the front part. This is the residual part, how you get out of the rat race part, when your passive income is above your overhead. Sadly, most people have no passive income. And so the point of this slide, I want to make abundantly clear before I move forward, is this, is that Chris Coker introduced Chris Tier, okay? But what happened is, Chris Tier could have been involved right here. This could have been Chris Tier. Mike McDaniel got involved one day after, or one day before Chris Tier. So if Chris would have got involved, if he would have what I call secure your real estate. This is what I call it. Secure your real estate. Just like the real estate business, location is important. Chris Tier, on this theoretical example, missed out on $10,000 a month because he waited one day to secure his real estate. The moral of the story is, once you get your questions answered, once you see you've seen enough to make a business decision, don't be a Chris Tier. Secure your real estate so that people could be below you instead of above you. Now, what happens is the company also, as I mentioned, when you get to senior marketing director, they pay $1,000. When you go from senior to regional, and by the way, the only way you can go from senior to regional is when you have other people that have been successful. And so then they pay you $5,000. When you go from here to here, they pay you $20. You go from here to here, $35, here to here, $50. Most people will never, ever, ever get to these positions. And it's not because they can't, it's because they don't treat the business like a business. And that's completely fine. It takes a lot of work to do that. If you want to, we can show you how. Steve Little, who's made $8 million in the last 10 years, is the number one direct marketer in the company, and I follow his system, and it's been very, very profitable for me. I'd love to tell you how we do it if you decide to be a part of our team. Now, one thing that Mark Adams does that I've never seen in the direct marketing industry is they pay insurance when you get to certain positions. They give you health, vision, dental, and life. I've never heard of a direct marketing company. I mean, you're 1099. Also, they will give you, there's an annual trip. As of right now, it's March 9th. I want you to hear me on this. It's March 9th, 2014. If before March 14th, 2014, so you have 1 week, I can show you how to get an unbelievable vacation for you, your spouse, or you and anybody else you want to bring. They're going to pay for everything. I mean, it's not even an all-inclusive normally. It's a luxurious resort. It's a Mayan Riviera, and it is going to be incredible. It's leaving in April, and if you're in the top 25 of the contest, you can go, and I want you to hear me. I can show you how to get in the top 25. If you hear this anytime before March 14th, I can show you how to do it. So anyways, let me move forward and say this. There's so many people that see this. I realize I'm going fast because I have limited time, but usually when they say it, they say, it seems like it makes a ton of sense. If it's so good, why wouldn't everybody do it? And here's the reasons. People say I don't have time. Really, when people say that, they're not thinking clearly. And I said that, so I don't want to act like I said that. Steve Little called me for over a year. And I have 3 kids. I coach other teams. I do a ministry. I travel all over the United States. I didn't think I had any time, but I wasn't thinking clearly, because really this isn't about time. It's about personal contacts. And see, the busier you are, the more contacts you have. And if you don't have time now, it's possible that you're exchanging time for money. You're an E or S. And probably you have to do that. But while you're an E or S, why wouldn't you do what Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump say and leverage yourself with the potential of becoming a B? And that's what I've done. There's people that want to be involved in this, and it's not a job, it's a business. Obviously, most businesses cost $50,000 or $100,000 to start. This does not. But, somebody will say, I don't have the money. I tell them, 2 things. One, you don't have to use your money. You can use somebody else's money. And in fact, if having money was a reason, if you had to have money to go to college, then there'd be no college. Colleges would be out of business, right? So we're talking, it doesn't require a whole lot of money in terms of starting a business. But if you really are in that situation, then borrow some money. And truthfully, if you're in a situation where $400 or $500 or $700 is a big issue for you, then it's possible what you're doing is your vehicle is not working that well. And I don't know if it's an E, an S. It's definitely not a B or I. So maybe you should consider that Mark Adams, probably you need Mark Adams' company more than he needs you. And I don't mean that as a personal insult. There's a third type of person that says, I'm not a salesperson. And then if I ask them why, they'll spend 5 minutes selling me on why they're not a salesperson. What they really mean is they don't go door to door. They don't want to push anybody. And we don't do that. All we do is recommend people watch something. And it's the same thing as telling somebody to watch a movie or to go to a restaurant. I mean, we sell people all the time our opinion. And the fourth thing I hear, people say, I've tried something like this before, and it didn't work out. And what I would say to that is, there's probably one of three reasons it didn't work out. Either number one is you didn't work, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, if you put up some money and you went to a couple meetings or something 20 years ago and it didn't work out, that's probably not a ton of effort if you're honest with yourself. 2 is, maybe it was a good company, maybe you put a lot of effort into it, but maybe you didn't have good leadership or mentorship, right? And 3 is, maybe it's a bad company. I mean, there's bad companies in real estate, there's bad companies in insurance. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, is this like Mary Kay? And I said, I hope so. Mary Kay's a $1 billion company. And I live in Dallas, Texas. They have the largest building in North America. Now's probably not the ideal time, in my opinion, to get involved, just because everybody's heard of it, they know of it, and we have some very distinct products. But yeah, I'd love to have been involved at the beginning of something like Mary Kay or Microsoft, and been one of the first people involved with that. Now, in terms of getting started, this is essentially what would happen. We would need to set up a website. The company would set up a website, just like they set up for me, and that's $99, $100 one time, and for 6 months it's free. After 6 months, you pay like $9 a month if you want to keep it. This website is incredible because it's got a front office and a back office. In other words, immediately somebody can go to your website, buy coffee, serum, energy drink, and weight loss coffee, and you get the difference between wholesale and retail paid to you. And literally, it's full, e-commerce. And then on the back, you can log into your back office, and this keeps track of everything for you. All of your sales, all of your network, everything. It's like there's this massive mainframe computer that keeps track of Facebook, and every time somebody drinks coffee, takes wrinkle cream, or buys an energy drink, there's money being paid out, and it keeps track of it. So there's no paperwork. And if you've ever owned a business, that's incredible. Then you want to think about product. Product, there's two options, the VIP and the basic. Now listen, I'm going to tell you this flat out, the VIP gives you double leadership bonuses. And that's how I got started. So for myself, I mean, the money I've made cut in half would have been devastating to me. So you literally make double the leadership bonuses. You get a little bit of everything, or you can just get the serum and the coffee weight loss, thermogenic coffee. But and let's say, what do you do with the product? Well, number one, use it, of course. I mean, people say, I'm not going to be involved unless the products are good. Well, obviously you won't know that until you use it. And number two is share the products. Market the products. You can do samples, and we have a very specific marketing strategy to show you how to unleash your product within 2 weeks and build a network to where you're making. I mean, I've had basically the last 5 weeks for me as of March 9th, and I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you my exact income, but let me say this. Every week, the last 4 weeks, I've had a comma in my weekly income, and I do this part-time. So I would say, if in fact money's an issue for you and you want to get started in the business and you want to start, whether basic or VIP, and I highly recommend VIP just because you make double leadership bonuses for life, that you use other people's money. Again, whether it's a parent, a spouse, or a credit card, it's not a lot of money to start a business. Let's be serious about that. The third thing is you want to understand how to look for and build networks. There are people who have built-in networks that you want to connect with. And it's just like John D. Rockefeller. He was the first billionaire. He said, I would rather earn 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. And then Robert Kiyosaki, you've heard me say at least 5 to 10 times, the richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. So obviously you want to build a network, but we know how. And that comes into the fourth thing, your mentor, the coaching. So many people, even if you've tried something that was similar to this, obviously if they didn't have Coffee Berry, which they couldn't have, it wasn't just like this. So many times people say, I've tried something like this, and I said, oh, they had a drink where you get 21 servings of fruits and vegetables, or they had coffee at 24 cents a cup, or they had serum. I mean, come on, let's just be real. Just because it have 2 doors and 4 wheels doesn't mean it's the same car. It may have been a great company, but my question is, who was your coach? Who mentored you? See, what I realized was the guy who was going to mentor me had made $8 million in the last 10 years, and he's the one, his son said he didn't want to go to college because his dad was always around. He had complete time freedom. And Steve Little connected with Mark Adams. Mark Adams was Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2008, 5 previous business successes. My point is, I wanted to follow proven leaders, both from a company and from a mentorship. And if, in fact, you say, I don't believe in things like this, just understand that that's one of the key things that stop people from actually having potential to have leveraged income. I always tell people after you see this, be very careful to watch out for other people's opinion. See, here's the thing. Let's say you go home and you ask somebody's opinion. Well, number one is the first question you may want to ask them, that's supposed to be an E, are they an E, S, are they a B, or I? And even if they love you, even if you love them, if they give you opinion and they're an E, then they're giving you an employee-minded opinion. Or an S, they're giving you an S opinion. A lot of people on the E and S say this. They say, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Well, that's not what these people say. I've learned that. These people say you've got to delegate, outsource. You've got to leverage yourself. I'd rather get 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. So be careful whose advice you go after, but also you should consider Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. You see, if you've heard network marketing as a bad thing, maybe it was because you were in a bad company. But please understand, the industry is extremely valid. I mean, this is Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki saying why we recommend network marketing, the very business model that Mark Adams chose to take these incredible products. Now, there's 2 other things I want to share with you, and that's Robert Allen. He was totally against the network marketing industry because of what his preconceived ideas were, and then he got involved in it, and look what he says here. He says, I've owned restaurants, clothing stores, chocolate factories, apartment buildings, commercial buildings, seminar companies, software business. Then look what he says. I've even owned a piece of the Utah Jazz, and network marketing beats them all. Now, I would stack his resume up against almost anybody that I know in terms of success, and he says that because of the overhead. You see, for less than $800 at the most, you get started with a website, a handful of product that's incredible that you can sample, use, and market, and literally in the last 5 weeks, my income, my profit, working from home with no overhead, I've profited every week with a comma in my paycheck, and it's going up. I mean, where can you do that? And you look what Kiyosaki said. He said, if I had to do it all over again, rather than build an old style type of business with lots of overhead, I would have started building a network marketing business. So again, we're talking about massive credibility. Every time you see this, anybody who sees this, and if this is your first time viewing this, you are going to be into one of three categories. May I suggest to you that after you're done with this, just call the person back who asked you to watch this and tell them where you are. Tell them you're either a 1, a 2, or a 3. Don't make them uncomfortable. Don't not return their calls. Of course they want you to be in the network. They're doing you a favor. This company will absolutely be a household name. I assure you of that. They've got hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. They're debt-free, and Mark Adams' track record is incredible. But it does. If you don't want to be involved with the business, no problem. You're number 1, which means you're not interested in the business. But I would suggest get some product from the website of the person who invited you. And here's your product choices. You can get regular, you can get decaf, you can get instant, and you can get latte. That no product, no coffee in the planet can be as healthy as this, because we have the exclusive worldwide patent on the coffee berry. And so, and I've been told, I don't drink coffee, that everybody loves the coffee. 2 is the nutritional beverage. And I don't know if you can read this, but this says spinach, carrot, broccoli, tomato. I mean, I would think it tastes nasty, but it's of course got coffee berry, wild blueberry, onion, Brussels sprout, kale, 21 servings of fruits and vegetables in 3 ounces. Let me tell you something. When my kids go to bed at night, I feel very, very good that they've got 21 servings of fruits and vegetables on top of the coffee berry in here. And that's my favorite product. Now, in terms of energy, if you lack energy, you want to try it, I suggest the fruit punch. I think it's incredible. They've got other flavors. I put that fruit punch because I think it's so good, gives you great energy. And again, this is a complete vitamin packet. You get your vitamins, low calorie, it's good for you. The 4th category is you're saying, if that's true, if you're like my wife, if that's true, if she didn't have surgery and that's not Photoshop, my gosh, I want to try it right away. I mean, if it took you 7 years, not 7 days, you know, look at the difference in that. And I don't think every product works the same for everybody, but every single buddy that's tried this said one thing to me, and it's only been out 5 weeks. They said, my skin is so smooth and soft. The next product is probably my favorite for marketing because it's instant impact. And again, just to reiterate, they had 102 people in the main product in here, 102 people, 10 weeks. They lost average 28 pounds, 6 inches off their waist, and 6% decrease in body fat. And as they say, documentation beats conversation. You can read the clinical test. Can you imagine drink 2 cups of coffee a day and lose inches and pounds and get your blueberries? Number 2 is, so if you're a 1, just look at what product you want, go to their website and buy it. Number 2, you're interested in the business, but you have some questions before you commit any time or money. That's perfect. I think great decisions are based on good information. And the 3rd type of person says, I want to secure my real estate. What that means is you understand the network. You might not understand how it works, but you can understand this. You would rather all of these people right here be below you. You want to be here. You don't want to be here. And the only way you can do that is securing your real estate, and they can show you how to do that. So I thank you for your time. Get with the person who invited you, and please just call them back immediately and let them know you're a 1. You're not interested in the business, but you like to try some product. You're a 2, you're interested, but you've got questions. Or you're a 3, you want to secure some real estate. Thank you for your time. Look forward to talking and working with you in the future.